United Nations. Latvia's president says Russia is planning a long war in Ukraine and has a message for countries hesitant about maintaining military support for Kiev. Keep supplying weapons or the Ukrainians will lose and leave Russia to threaten others in the region. The green light will be given. Future. Edgars Rinkovics said in an interview with the Associated Press it is important to really fight for international peace and peace in Europe. Because if we stop Russia-Ukraine, then Russia will not be able to challenge other countries. He highlighted devastating role Russia's Wagner mercenary group has played in Africa and Russia's meetings with officials from the militant Hamas, which rules Gaza Strip, in a surprise attack on Israel on October 7 that killed nearly 1,200 people. The Baltic country, with a population of 1.9 million, held a key position by joining both the European Union and NATO in 2004. On its eastern flank, which has a 214-kilometer border with Russia, Rinkovics, who served as foreign minister for 13 years before being elected president Latvia, said that although some members of 27-nation EU had ideas at end-day alliance reached an agreement on imposing sanctions and providing more support to Russia. Interestingly, at this point the EU is more divided the Middle East issue than on Ukraine, he said in an interview Thursday. He said it was important for the West to support both Ukraine and Israel against attacks on our values and the international order. He also emphasized need for humanitarian pauses. Fighting in Gaza provide aid to Palestinian civilians, whose death toll Israel's retaliation for Hamas offensive has exceeded 11,000. According Gaza Ministry of Health, Rinkovics stated that Iran is very pleased to see such a development in the Middle East and pointed out that Tehran is supplying weapons and other equipment to Russia for its fight in Ukraine. It is in NATO's security interest for both situations to be viewed the same. He said, I also believe that it will be much easier for us to maintain peace in Europe if Ukraine succeeds, rather than disappointing Ukraine. This could also lead to the situation in the Middle East getting out of control. Rinkovics said Ukrainian soldiers were fighting very bravely and that the West had a responsibility to respond to President Volodymyr Zelensky's call for more arms because we are not providing as much weapons as we should have. He said Russia was mobilizing its economy, resources and military machinery for a very long war. He tried to win the war quickly and realized couldn't. And now Moscow wants to strangle Ukraine, he said, predicting would revive attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure like last winter. Rinkovics said that the EU and NATO should prepare for a long war in Ukraine. The EU realized that we need more defense and military, he said, and at this point I would like to see the process be a little faster. But still, these things are finally moving.